Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you how to do this fun project using copper wire and some amethyst stone beads. The amethyst stone beads are spiral cut from Tejas beads, and then I'm going to show you how to use copper wire to form this S-link, and then you wire up the stones and attach them to the link, and you have a fun bracelet to wear. I did antique the copper using liver of sulfur to create a darker copper wire, and then I did polish it with a cloth to make it a little bit more shiny. So I'm going to show you how to do this today. Here's kind of a close-up of what it looks like, and let's get started. So today we'll be using artistic wire brand copper wire and 18 gauge for the S-shaped pendants and the 22 gauge to wire up the amethyst stones. I'll also be using the wood dowel size 9.5 millimeter, and this is a part of a wood dowel set. I have some of them right here from Bieber. I do have this set for sale in my store. It's great for wire forming, and it's like 20 bucks, I think. So to start, I'm going to cut off about 5 inches of wire in the 18 gauge here. And I'm going to form some loops on each side. So we want to take the wire and just bend it around like so. And then we're going to flip the wire around on this side and bend it around like so. So you kind of have like this S-shaped connector here. And I'm going to cut off this wire. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to curve in the tail here on the inside and coil it around while I'm holding it to create an end like this. And as you're, moving the wire around, you can form it and stuff like that. I like 18 gauge. It's pliable to use for projects, but you can also still move it around. So I'm just moving the wire around here with my round nose pliers. And then also you can take chain nose pliers or flat nose pliers and just continue forming it around and flatten them out a little bit and then push them together down and you have your S-shaped pendant. Now on my bracelet, I did hammer them. You don't have to hammer them for texture at all or to flatten them. You can keep them nice and round if you want. I did flatten them with just a hammer and a jewelry hammer and like the silver plate. So here's what your pendant will look like. And you want to make a handful of these ones. For this bracelet, it's an 8-inch bracelet. I made I made 4 of them, and they're like maybe 1.5 inches long. So it depends on how long you want your bracelet. So this one, using the smaller dowel, is less than 1 inch. Okay, so we made one of those. We're going to go ahead and make another one. And again, I'm cutting like 4 or 5 inches of wire. And you want to fold the wire in a loop around the dowel. And again, I'm using the 9.6 millimeter dowel. And then rotate your copper over and form it on this side of the dowel. And you have kind of like your S shape started here, like so. And cut off the excess wire, kind of where they meet here in the middle. And then again, take your round nose pliers and you want to curve to the inside of your S shape here, like so. And sometimes it's easier than others. You just kind of have to work around it. Hold tight, obviously a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit easier when you hold down your wire tight. I'm like, you gotta grip it a little bit more there, sister. Okay, so I'm gonna do this side and wire up it in place too. All right, and you can just twist it. And again, take your other pliers to kind of help coil it the rest of the way. Close out like so. Grab this one, and I'm going to condense them down just a little bit more like so. And then we have this pendant. There we go. So the next step that we're going to do is, I'm going to get that one down a little bit more, is take our amethyst stone, and I'm using 10 millimeter amethyst spiral beads from Tejas Beads. And I'm going to grab my 22 gauge stone here, 22 gauge wire here, and you just need like 5 inches or so. And I'm going to form a loop on each side. So I form a loop by taking my wire and forming it around my round nose pliers here. I don't want one that big. And I'm going to straighten it out a little bit and take the stem here. I'm just going to go around a few times. And I want to have a chunkier look on this one, so I'm going back up over the previous wire a little bit and then cutting off excess wire and pinching it close like so. That way I have a little bit more wire on the end of the loop. And slide your stone on. And form a loop on this side. And then the next step is once you have your loops wire wrapped on each side of the amethyst stone or whatever stone you're using, is make sure your loops are facing the same direction. Is you want to take your stone and slide it onto the S design here of your pendant. So I'm going to actually pull this wire up just a little bit so I can reach it better. And I'm going to take my amethyst and I'm going to slide it around. I need to open this up a little bit more. I'm going to slide it around the inside of my pendant, and it was easier the first time I did this. Now my hands don't want to cooperate. There we go. And slide it around the inside. And then you want to pinch this back down close, and you also want to have the end of the wire actually touching the other wire. That way this doesn't slide back off and become detached. So then you want to take it and just wire wrap it closed up again and coil it a little bit tighter, like so. And there you go. So one side is finished. And then I'm going to go back over to this side and attach the amethyst on this side. Okay, I wire wrapped a loop on the other side. Whew, I zoomed in a little bit too much there. On the other side of my amethyst stone, and I'm going to take it, I'm going to slide it to the other side of the copper link. And now that's on there, I'm going to re-loop this tighter back into the coil shape I had. And then I'm going to tighten the end here so that way it's closed and my amethyst stone can't slide back off. You just have to pinch it down a little bit. And now you have your first S pendant here with your 2 amethyst stones in between. So now I'm going to take my next S, pop that out a little bit. I'm going to slide the amethyst stone on this side and go around the pendant. And I'm going to again press this closed and tighten this up a little bit. That way the wire doesn't have any openings for the stone to come off. And I need to wire up another stone. I'm going to attach it on this side. So again, I'm going to cut some 22 gauge wire here and form a loop. Like so. And pinch down the wire. And add my stone. And wire wrap this end. And then you just want to make sure your loops are both facing the right direction. And pinch off excess wire and closed. And this one looks like it's a little close together, so I'm going to pull this one out a little bit and slide my wire on. Like so. I'm going to go back and coil this up a little bit tighter again and just make sure the wire is kind of closed a little bit. And there we go. So you can see your bracelets start to form here with the stone connected in between your S shapes. So if you wanted to have, I think an 8-inch bracelet is what I said earlier, you want to have 4 coils in between your stones, and you can adjust it to whatever length that you want. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep going, and then I'll add a clasp and we're finished. So I finished wire wrapping the bracelet, and I have the connectors and all of the stones joined together. And the next step I'm going to demonstrate is how to use patina. So we're going to move over into my bathroom and let's have fun exploring with liver of sulfur. Liver of sulfur is a toxic liquid patina that turns your metals to an antique color. You need to use hot water when you're working with this. And also you want to rinse out with baking soda water mixture to neutralize it when you're finished. I also use dish soap with cold water, but you want to follow all the directions on the back of the bottle and use the guidelines that they are telling you to use. You also do not want to get it on your skin or on your hands as it's toxic, or in your eyes or anything like that at all. You can use it with gloves, and you can also use it with like a metal or some tool to pull your items out of whichever bowl or container you use to hold your liver of sulfur water mixture. What I'll be doing is I'll be mixing the mixture with warm water and adding my bracelet to it. And the bracelet looks like this. It's a shiny copper. Now, some stones do not mix well in water or with solution. Some do. You want to double check with your stone to find out if it works in the solution or not. Amethyst seems to work okay for me when it's been polished and it's in its finished bead. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bowl. And then what I'm going to do is add really warm hot water to it. Then you add just a very tiny sparing drop of liver sulfur to the mixture, and it's a yellow color, like so. A little bit more water. And you'd let your items soak for just about a minute, or until you see the metal start to change from the shiny copper to the dark copper. And then as you let it sit and it finishes, when it's all done, you just grab a tool of your preference that is metal. And again, do not touch the solution with your hands. Follow all safety guidelines, wear goggles, gloves, whatever you feel comfortable with, but you have to adhere to safety guidelines since it is toxic. And when it's finished, I'm just gonna pull it out with a tool. Also, you want to have a fan on because you do not want to smell it. Okay, mine is done, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. And when you pull it out of the mixture, it's gonna have an antique, dark look on your metal. Next, if you want, take a polishing cloth and just go over the metal, and it will keep it a darker antique look, but it'll also make it shiny. And kind of lift off a little bit of the extra patina that's on there. And when you're all finished, to preserve the color and to help it not change colors as quickly, use museum wax or preservation wax over the top of your metalwork, and it will help it not tarnish faster. So we're all done now, and then what we're going to do is add a lobster clasp to the end, and then you're finished and you can wear your bracelet. I'm using 6mm heavy gauge jump rings from Hobby Lobby, and in the antique color, copper color, on each end. Like so. And then you can just put your bracelet on and close it with a lobster clasp. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or visit me on my website at andriabieberdesigns.com and andriabieberdesigns@gmail. That's my Hotmail, sorry, my email. And then you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and TikTok. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message there as well. And again, here's a close-up to the bracelet. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.